Joining me now is Democratic Congressman from Arizona, who is also a member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Greg Stanton. Great to have you on our show today. There is so much going on in Washington. I got to get your take on this, looming government shutdown. We want to take a listen first to House Appropriations Committee Chairman Tom Cole. He was on the Hill Sunday. Let's listen.
Almost every Republican in both chambers has voted to keep the government open. Frankly, almost every Democrat in both chambers has voted to close it down. So I think it's pretty simple to see Democrats are trying to blackmail the administration and Republicans in Congress to achieve an unrelated objective. I don't think it's going to work.
Okay, so blackmail, kind of a strong word. Are you satisfied with how your party is collaborating with Republicans to get this budget packaged passed? What's it going to take?
I think it's a good step that the president has finally agreed to meet with legislative leaders, both on the House side and the Senate side. House Democrats, we're going back to Washington. I'm taking the red-eye flight back to Washington. We will be ready to vote at a moment's notice on a negotiated agreement. We know that if no steps are taken, millions of Americans are going to lose their health care under the Affordable Care Act. 20 million Americans are going to have their premiums doubled. We don't want that to happen. That's why we want to negotiate with the Republicans on a bipartisan agreement that we can all come together on to keep this government open and to help people protect their health care. That is what we are fighting for, is ensuring that Americans do not lose access to their primary care physicians. If we do nothing, if we go forward with what the Republicans want to do, millions of Americans will lose access to their doctors.
I mean, it's incredible to think about, because so often when we talk about the government shutdown possible that could be coming down the pike, it always seems like we get to the 11th hour and then things turn around. But let's take a look at this list of the impact of the government shutdown. I mean, we're talking about cuts coming maybe to the TSA and Social Security. When you take a look at that list, other than health care, what stands out to you as for the everyday American that we're going to be feeling this?
Well, nobody wants a government shutdown. A government shutdown is not a good thing for the United States of America. So we desperately want this negotiation tomorrow to be successful. We assume and we hope that both sides, Republicans and Democrats and the president, will come together in good faith and reach an agreement so we can avoid the shutdown. But House Democrats, we're not going to turn our back on the American people. We're going to fight for the American people and ensure that they have full access to the healthcare system, that they don't get eliminated from the Affordable Care Act. As you know, in the One Big Beautiful Bill, the reason why it's so unpopular is because it ripped away access to health care for millions of our fellow Americans. We are in a health care crisis. We can't ignore that at this given time. So that's why Democrats are saying that if you want to negotiate in good faith, here's exactly what we need. We need to ensure that millions of Americans don't lose access to their primary care physician.
Yeah. Also, while I have you, I wanted to ask you about Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. This is another big story for us this weekend as we watch him call for an urgent meeting with top generals this week at a Marine Corps base in Virginia. The Washington Post is reporting that Trump will now be attending this meeting. So what are you hearing? What's going to happen here? And do you think it helps or hurts our military matters right now because so many people are being called away for this meeting?
Well, look, we don't know the reason why the secretary has called these meetings, having the top military brass from all branches of the military come back to Washington, D.C. for this meeting. Now, obviously, the stories in the paper is that it's going to be a discussion about his philosophy of warrior ethos. Look, the American military has been the strongest in the world before Pete Hegseth was secretary. It's going to maintain its status as the strongest military, best trained military, the best fighting officers in the world in our military after he's gone. So it is really unclear what this is all about. Is it just a photo op for the president, Pete Hegseth? So I'm very skeptical as to what is the real reason behind calling back these leaders of our military, including from places where there are ongoing hotspots for the American military. We need that leadership on the ground. Why they're being called back to Washington, we simply don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it apparently has to be in person. We'll see how it plays out. We'll be watching it. Also, Democratic Congressman from Arizona, Greg Stanton, will check back in with you. Thank you very much for joining us today on your Sunday. We appreciate it.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.